anyways, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Tonight marks the first fanfic night of doing one of my little resolutions. That is going back and finishing most of the fanfics we haven't really finished yet.
Yay!
It's starting with tonight's reading of the last 3 parts of Ponyville Discovers Coffee!
Oh, no!
So, we're gonna get back to that, and we're gonna see how ponies react. Yes.
If you remember, for those who did not know, Ponyville Discovers Coffee was supposedly going to be a sequel of sorts to another fanfic we read, Pinkie Discovers Coffee. And this one here, Ponyville Discovers Coffee, was basically a bunch of one-shots dealing with other ponies discovering the Starbits coffee that Pinkie Pie brought, or well, the cakes brought into Ponyville. And the first chapter we read from that story involves Sweetie Belle.
Yeah, and for those who have no idea what the hell we're talking about, in short, yes, as Inverted said, the case decided to bring Starbits coffee to Ponyville. They were afraid that Pinkie Pie would go completely apeshit in this fanfic,
but it turns out Pinkie Pie was immune to the caffeine, and
Twilight freaked out.
Twilight
just went caffeinated Twilight, and just, dear God, it was almost as worse as fucking Less Than Zero all over again.
I was like, dear Celestia, I learned about the magic of coffee!
And in the one shot that we read, the coffee seems to have an effect on Sweetie Belle, not only as a unicorn, but also as a young filly unicorn who has yet to discover her special talent. It ended up causing her magic to completely freak out, causing mayhem, and God knows what to Rarity's poor, unfortunate Carousel Boutique.
Like she was like hurting opalescence and...
Yes. So, yes, tonight we're starting off the revisiting of fanfics by reading the last 3 bits of Ponyville Discovers Coffee, starting with the first chapter involving Big Mac.
Let's see what happens.
When he drinks coffee, is he gonna have like a larger vocabulary now?
I have no idea. There's only one way to find out, though.
He's not a limited vocabulary. He's just simple. I mean, he speaks.
He's just shy.
He's
Spoopy-doo!
Oh, not that shy!
Not that! Okay. Never mind. No. Let's not deal with that right now. However, though, I am curious as to how Coffee will affect such a big pony like him. I'm hoping it's positive. So, why don't we get things started, huh?
Yes, I will link the fiction in the chat. There you go. I think I already gave it to I Am Shadow, but yes. Alright, let us kick this new year off right, shall we, my friends?
Alright, let me load up the story. That way I'll actually follow along.
Let us dive back into Ponyville Discovers Coffee by Soothing Stone. Oh dear. The final panes of glass went back up on the sugar cube corner as Big Mac put the finishing touches on the repair. It had been 2 days since Twilight almost destroyed the corner, and for reasons no pony knew, she had disappeared with Pinkie Pie, with rumors there were plenty of craters in the ever-free forest now.
Oh dear, Pinkie Pie trying to make Twilight control her caffeinated outburst. Anyways, keep on going. I am going to fix myself something quick.
You do that. That wasn't on his mind, though, as he carefully aligned his glass inside, as the cakes watched nervously from the outside. He almost dropped the expensive plate, but managed to keep it in his hooves as it clicked into place, signifying that it was good to go. He climbed down the ladder, rung by rung, and looked back to examine his work. It looked just like it did before Twilight became a ball of energy, but he wasn't sure about that. If he wasn't sure about that, he didn't come to this part of town much. Well, what about the deliveries that he makes from Sweet Apple Acres, huh?
Yeah, exactly.
Nah, whatever. How's that, Mr. and Mrs. Cake? He asked them. See? That's the 11th vocabulary.
Yeah. Surprise, surprise. Should I do Mrs. Cake, or do you want to go on?
If you want to.
I can't do her voice, so...
It doesn't matter.
Wonderful. It looks as if nothing has ever happened.
Mrs. Cake complimented. Thank you so much, Miss Big Mac, Mr. Cake added. I'll pay the 200 bits as promised, but do you want to put up a new Starbits sign as well? We'll add another 50 bits to that. 250 bits, damn.
Dang, that's property damage right there.
You'd think with that much, they'd finally be able to touch up Sweet Apple Acres.
I know, right?
It's not a problem, sir, Big Mac said. You don't need to use money for that. The job's reward enough. He went inside the doors and found a cardboard box by a table with the Starbits logo on the top. This was the one. The box flaps came apart to reveal the brand new neon sign, all assembled beforehand and featuring an instruction manual on how to operate the sign. It was complicated, but he could just put it up and that would be all he needed to do. And that's what he did. He went back and grabbed the ladder and put it back against the window, aiming to place the sign near the top. The stallion got the sign out of the box and took it in his hooves, careful not to drop it. It was heavy and clearly expensive to purchase. As he went up every rung, the sign rumbled within his hooves, almost ready to slip. The tension of the moment almost got to him until he got to the final rung. Now all he had to do was hang it up. The sign used a mixture of tiny screws and suction cups to stick to the wall, a method used to stay up on any glass, but also so it didn't need to be drilled inside. He found all the cups and pushed it on the wall slowly, and soon enough, it was up. Well, it didn't take too long.
Yeah.
All done! Come have a good look at it. We can see just fine from here. I have to say, I think we made the right choice of you, Mr. Cake shouted. They both came inside as Big Mac stepped down, wiping the sweat off his brow as the job was finished. Yup. Looks like I'm done over here. That should last a while. Glass is a stronger build than what you had before. Should be able to withstand what it was destroyed. Try that again.
It's okay.
Should be able to withstand what it was that destroyed the window the first time. I think you actually knows it was Twilight that did that.
Yeah, I know.
Now that I'm thinking about it, what was it that did something like this? Mrs. Cake smiled and shrugged, wanting to keep the incident a secret as long as possible.
Why would just a stray animal from the Everfree Forest, dear. Don't worry about it. She went back to the wild and we won't see her again.
Are you certain about that?
Are you sure, Mrs. Cake? I can agree Twilight was a wild animal, but, yeah.
That's good, I suppose. They have some nasty creatures down there. Hey, what's that on the counter? He pointed over at the coffee machine, the new Pandora's box of Ponyville. Pandora's box of Ponyville. Wow.
Really?
Okay.
Back.
So Big Mac just put the sign up, and now he's pointed to the coffee machine, which was literally called the new Pandora's box of Ponyville.
Oh, come on. It was just Twilight, by accident.
Yeah.
The shiny box was nothing he had seen before, and certainly nothing like the rest of the instruments the Cakes used to make their snacks. So in confusion, he walked over and tapped the top of it, and the box responded with gears whirling, steam pouring out, and just being loud in general. It took him by surprise, and he ran for cover behind the Cakes against the terrifying creature from the coffee pony's lair. Mr. Cake laughed and sidestepped, leaving the red stallion out in the open. It's something you should be afraid of. It's a really great machine we just bought this week. You notice the Starbit sign you put up recently? Big Mac nodded, still shivering in fear. Starbits is a really popular brand of coffee in Canterlot, and what this machine does is make some of the coffee they make in their stores. Now this was making sense. Big Mac got up on his hooves and watched as the machine continued to whirl some more, eventually coming out with a tall cup of black coffee.
Speaking of which, I could really use one of these.
Mrs. Cake said. She grabbed the cup and stuck a straw inside, drinking half of it in one go. Jesus, you do not want to be going to the root of Sweetie Belle.
Wow, she must have been exhausted from all that cleanup.
And remember, Mrs. Cake is not unicorn.
Yeah.
She appeared really tired, her eyes backing a little if you looked close, but once the coffee was downed, her face lit up and returned back to normal. So, is it some kind of magic from one of those wizards or mages in Canterlot? Big Mac asked.
Far from it, Big Mac.
In a way, Mr. Cake smirked, but it's all made from beans. Nothing too magical about this, or at least, I don't think it does. Doesn't seem all that bad. Sorry for acting like such a scaredy pony. I haven't seen something like that.
That's fine. We all have our first time for everything. How about you make this the first time you drink coffee?
Yes.
Here we go.
Big Mac nodded and looked up the coffee drinks menu. Excuse me. There were many different kinds of coffee, more than he would guess. He scanned down the list and realized how hot he was. Today was a warm summer day, and he was sweaty and probably smelly. First thing to do on the list at home, take a good long shower.
Oh dear.
So when he saw the iced latte on the list, it sounded like the most appealing to him. He could really use something to cool him down, and seeing vanilla on the list seemed really appealing. Vanilla. I'll take 1 vanilla iced latte, ma'am, he asked.
Right, 1 iced latte on the way.
With a series of button pushes, the machine went back to work. This wasn't like the previous 2 times, as the ice played a bigger part. The sound of ice being crushed and grounded was audible, and it lasted a good while. Later, it was being mixed all in, and made a weird sound like... not unlike a wave at the ocean. Then the next step was up, mixing the coffee with the ice. Mrs. Cake opened the box's lid to see how it was coming along. Both the ice and the coffee were dumped into one big chamber and slushed together, enough for 3 customers to enjoy. It mixed for a good 5 minutes before being disposed within a small cup. The cup was very cold to the touch, to the point where the plastic had a thin layer of ice, something that made Mr. Cake shiver as he grabbed it and delivered the goods on the counter. "There you go! 1 vanilla iced latte and your first real coffee drink," he said, while putting 250 bits on the counter. "Thank you, Carrot Cake," the big stallion said. "I appreciate the..." Wait a minute. Is that 250 bits? I said I didn't need to be paid for hanging up a sign. Mr. Cake was stunned. How could Try that again. How could Macintosh tell how many bits there were without counting them? So apparently he's got book smarts.
Or he's just as business savvy as AJ is.
True.
Yep.
It's no problem, but let's see how the coffee tastes. Without warning, he grabbed the straw and stuck it in Big Mac's mouth, and the stallion accidentally swallowed some of it in the move. Oh dear.
Oh no.
What the hell are you doing? Hey!
Huh?
He shut his mouth and pressed his hooves to his cheeks, not expecting the latte to be that cold. It felt like an iceberg found its way there, and he was at the South Pole. It did taste good, the vanilla taste leaving a good impression, but he had to swallow what was left to make it tolerate it. When he did, something strange seemed to happen. His vision blacked out for a moment, and he couldn't sense anything that was going on around him. Now he was wondering if this was all a dream, but he pinched himself and felt plenty of pain, meaning this was really happening. Soon after, his vision slowly came back. The tables, the window, the sign, the Pandora's box, and the faces of the cakes filled with worry. For some reason, he took another sip of the stuff, and he blacked out again.
Man, are you sure are you sure we're dealing with a latte, or are we dealing with some tranquilizer? This isn't good or healthy.
You okay, Big Mac?
This has to be magical, he thought. There is no drink that is not a potion that does this. Again, he was able to make everything out in time, but when he did, it was different from before. Everything seemed brighter, more vivid, and he seemed more aware of every action made around him. Oh dear. He could see a fly hovering above him. He could see every little fraction of movement the cakes made. Heck, he found out that he could hear what the ponies outside were saying, wondering how much damage Derpy Hooves made this time. Overall, there was only one thing he could use to describe this. More aware of the world.
Whoa.
Whoa, that's nuts.
Damn. But it came at a cost. When this strange new ability came to light from the coffee, he felt like everything was watching him at once. Anything that could try that again. Anything that could look at him did, and it was like being on a stage with a common stage fright coming to him. He shook in terror, wondering why the hey every pony was looking at him and not the cakes.
Are you alright, Big Mac? You seem ill. Maybe I could check your temperature and see if you need to see a doctor.
But starting then, he felt like everything was judging him, asking all about his secrets. He couldn't take it anymore. I took Twilight's doll when nobody was looking!
What?
What?
I couldn't help myself. This smarty pants was so cute. She was the cutest thing I've ever seen in my life, and I thought I had to ever after Heartspell was over. And I've been sleeping with her in my hooves every night. I even bought a brush accessory for her in the garage sale.
Big Mac?
Was Big Mac drinking coffee or drinking coffee with truth serum in it?
Could have been drinking Varietas serum for all I know.
What the heck?
Harry Potter reference.
Oh, yeah.
The cakes sighed, drooping their ears down. This was going to be an interesting day. And the whole reason why I loved her is because she reminds me of Fluttershy! Fluttershy! Oh boy! Fluttermax supporters, now is your chance to speak up.
Please, no.
Mr. Cake looked over at Mrs. Cake with beady eyes. She mouthed the words, "Not yet," with her lips.
Oh, God.
Yes, I've had a crush on Fluttershy ever since she bought that little cottage of hers. She's so shy, just like me, but I never had the courage to say anything about her. I love her. So I practice what I want to say with Miss Smarty Pants.
Oh, God, he's whacked.
Yes, he
Big
is.
Mac looked all around the room, spinning around in circles. It still felt like the world was watching him, criticizing him for not saying more. Then, as if to make this better, he ran outside for every pony to... Oh, fuck.
No.
I love Fluttershy! Why won't you leave me alone? What do you want me to do? Tell her?
Somebody get the tranquilizer gun!
Yes,
Then
please.
Mrs. Cake nodded. Mr. Cake opened the case below the counter and pulled out the trusty tranquilizer gun with the note, "Use in case Pinkie goes extra Pinkie."
Yes! Yes!
Yes.
Double the dosage! We got a big one!
But as he left the gun with the gun in his mouth, he saw that the red stallion had fled and saw him running straight for Fluttershy's cottage saying, "I love Fluttershy!" with every gallop. Oh dear.
Oh, shit.
Shoot it down. Shoot it down.
It became a chase as Mr. Cake tried to steady the shot to get Big Mac, but he kept changing direction to say his secret to another pony. He bumped into Applejack along the... shit.
Fuck!
Easy there, brother. What's with the hurry? You forgot something at the farm? I could get it for...
I have to tell Fluttershy I love her! He screamed. He went back to galloping, leaving Applejack lost in confusion.
That was still a good Applejack. I'm surprised you could do her well.
Thank
Yes.
you.
I remember hearing you do it in the second Human Applejack and Rainbow Dash dub. That was pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Well, thank you. I haven't practicing, so...
Then, Mr. Cake had lost where Big Mac was before spotting Applejack. Where'd he go? I have to stop him!
He went over to Fluttershy's house. What just happened?
Believing he had no time for an explanation, he remembered a shortcut to the cottage Big Mac didn't know about, and went straight for it. He hoped this would take him there before the secret came out. The coffee was screwing up the stallion's brain, obviously. Adoy!
Man, it's making him go all sorts of weird.
Yeah.
After much running, more than he thought he had in him, he arrived at Fluttershy's cottage, and there was no other horseshoe prints to suggest he was too late. Fluttershy would be inside, as hinted by her singing coming from inside, and he found a bush to hide in. He waited inside for a while, hunched over like a poacher. But so much time had passed that he wondered if Big Mac even knew where Fluttershy's house even was. However, Big Mac did arrive after a while, and rushed to the front door to knock his head furiously at the door. He shuffled around with his hooves as he waited to hear Fluttershy stop singing and say,
Now, who could that be?
"Oh!"
Easy does it.
His heart...
Trying.
Ugh. His heart was beating furiously as he could hear Fluttershy's hooves approach the door. A lot of words he could say to her came up, but he had nothing as the Pegasus finally opened the door.
Hi, Big Mac. What are you doing here?
"Oh, Fluttershy," he said as he kissed one of her hooves, leaving her confused. "I have to say this to you, 'cause it's a secret I've had for too long. Fluttershy, I love you!" Ugh.
What?
He said all he wanted to say by the time he felt a dart hit his neck. The dart filled his veins with strong sleep medicine, strong enough to knock him out as soon as it hit him. "Yes, I did it!" Mr. Cake shouted in victory, emerging from the bush. "I didn't know I could do it, but I did it!"
What's this all about?
Fluttershy asked. "Oh, about that. You see, I offered him to try out some of my new coffee, but it did a bunch of weird things to him. He said something about having a doll and crushing on you, but I don't know if that was all true or not. It did seem a little ridiculous to me."
I hope it was true what he had said to me, if you're okay with that.
What? Wait, what do you mean, you hope it's true?
I have a secret crush on him.
What?
Fuck! Ow!
Yep.
Abandoned thread, it's happening.
Abandon all hope, all who enter here. Oh, fuck.
Now, Gonzo, if I may quote you.
No.
Like Phoenix. Stupid!
Why is this... Oh, I keep saying shit and it ends up being used against me. I gotta fucking stop.
Inverted, high five.
And we already got Blister Blood going, fuck this stream.
Shit. Ugh.
Okay. Mr. Cake was so shocked his hat flew off and fell into the stream underneath the bridge. I don't understand,
I thought he was kind of cute.
Fluttershy said, leaving it all out there.
He was always brave, thoughtful, and he takes good care of his farm creatures. And then I hanged out with him, but I was afraid to say anything. And now that I know he likes me back.
She shined a grin so wide the sun reflected off of it, and Mr. Cake shielded his eyes. Well, this is out of my hooves. I apologize about this. I thought this would be uncomfortable for you.
It's no problem. Now, for Big Mac.
She showed a strength never before seen, and picked up Big Mac's body, taking him inside to rest on a sofa, all while giggling about it and shutting the door behind her.
Um.
And then there was rape.
Let's not go there.
Still stunned and dazed, Mr. Cake found his hat in the stream and plucked it up. He shook off some of the water and put it back on his head.
Let's just get the hell out of here
Oh,
before
dear.
we have to go into explicit detail as to what goes on in there.
It just happened.
Let's not.
Sorry, what? Did my internet just drop out?
No.
What just happened? Crap.
Wait, what? What are you talking about?
My internet dropped derp for a second, and we lost I'm Shadow.
I
Oh.
could host a call
Okay.
if need be.
Sorry, that was my internet's fault, not any of yours.
Okay, moving on. So what happened?
Mrs. Cake said as her husband came in through the door. I don't know how to explain it, he grumbled. I don't want to talk about it for a while, if that's fine with you. He fell to one of the chairs and she got the message and gave him some black coffee.
Was it that bad?
Not really. All that happened is that I found true love before my eyes, and I don't know what to say about it, she asked.
What do you mean you found true love?
I didn't mean it like that! I meant Fluttershy loved him back!
Oh. Well, this is weird.
I was thinking on the way home, should we get rid of this? He pointed over at the coffee machine.
Why? You're the pony that made the final decision to get it.
But it's doing weird things to every pony who drinks it!
Except you. You're the same pony who wouldn't have some coffee, so what's the problem?
I guess you're right, but I'm still not sure if this is a good idea.
Okay. How about we just keep it for a few weeks so we can recoup costs and see what happens?
I'm with you, Sugar Plum. Let's see what happens. Oh boy.
And that's the end of this.
So that's Big Mac. Oh god. Next chapter is Derpy.
Oh dear.
Great.